Liam pressed his face against the observation window, watching ships drift past like mechanical fish in an ocean of stars. Station Meridian 7 hummed beneath his feet, a constant vibration that reminded him they were floating in space, far from Earth. His mother said they would be here for 3 weeks while she studied alien plants. 3 weeks felt like forever to a 10-year-old boy. "Stay close." Badger's translation collar crackled. The honey badger sat beside him, black and white fur slightly raised. Badger never liked crowds. The main corridor stretched ahead, filled with aliens of every shape and size. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. Some floated. One creature looked like a pile of moving crystals. Liam had stopped being surprised after the first day. His mother always said the galaxy was diverse, but seeing it was different from reading about it. A group of krill merchants blocked the path ahead. They were tall, maybe 7 feet, with scales that shimmered green and gold under the station lights. Their eyes were cold like a snake's eyes. Liam had learned to recognize them quickly. The krill controlled most of the station's trade, and they didn't like humans much. "Move, soft skin," one of them hissed as Liam approached. The krill didn't step aside. His companions laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. Liam felt Badger tense beside him. The honey badger's claws clicked against the metal floor. Liam put his hand on Badger's head, fingers sinking into the coarse fur. "It's okay," he whispered. He walked around the krill, keeping his eyes down. His mother taught him that. Don't make trouble. Humans were new to the Galactic Union, only 15 years since first contact. They were still proving themselves, still earning respect. Making enemies wouldn't help. The krill laughed again as Liam passed. One of them said something in their language, and the others joined in. Liam's cheeks burned, but he kept walking. Badger growled low in his throat, barely audible. But Liam felt it. They reached the market sector where his mother worked. Dr. Rebecca Carter stood at a research station, examining a plant with purple leaves that seemed to pulse with light. She looked up and smiled when she saw Liam. "How's my explorer doing?" she asked. "Good," Liam said. He didn't mention the krill. She had enough to worry about. "I'll be another few hours here. Why don't you and Badger explore the hydroponics level? Just stay in the public areas." She handed him a credit chip. "Get yourself something to eat." Liam nodded and headed toward the lifts with Badger at his heels. The honey badger looked relaxed now, away from the krill. People often stared at Badger. Most aliens didn't understand why humans brought animals into space. They used robots and drones for companionship. The idea of keeping living creatures as friends seemed strange to them, even primitive. But Badger wasn't just a pet. He was part of Earth's Enhanced Species program. Scientists had given him increased intelligence and small cybernetic implants that let him understand multiple languages. The translation collar turned his sounds into words. He couldn't speak like a human, but he could communicate basic ideas. More importantly, the program enhanced his natural abilities. Badger was stronger, faster, and tougher than a normal honey badger. And normal honey badgers were already known as one of Earth's most fearless animals. The hydroponics level was quieter. Plants from a dozen worlds grew under specialized lights. Liam found a bench near a garden of Earth vegetables and sat down. Badger jumped up beside him, sniffing the air. The smell of tomatoes and basil reminded Liam of home. "You miss Earth?" Liam asked. "Home good," Badger's collar translated. "But boy here, so Badger here." Liam smiled and scratched behind Badger's ears. They had been together for 3 years since Liam was 7. His father had arranged it before he died, knowing that Rebecca's work would take them to dangerous places. A honey badger guardian seemed like an odd choice to most people, but Liam's father had done his research. Honey badgers bonded deeply with their chosen people. They were smart, brave, and absolutely loyal. Once a honey badger decided you were family, nothing in the universe would make them abandon you. A commotion drew Liam's attention. Across the hydroponics garden, 3 krill enforcers surrounded a small alien merchant. The merchant looked like a purple frog, barely 3 feet tall. One of the krill held him by the collar of his vest. "You owe Overseer Drath," the krill enforcer said. "Payment is due." "I paid last week," the merchant croaked. "I have receipts." "Then you owe for this week." The krill shook him. "And next week. And the week after." The other visitors in the hydroponics level looked away. Nobody wanted trouble with the krill. Station security rarely interfered in their business. Meridian 7 was far from Union headquarters, and the krill had power here. Badger stood on the bench, every muscle tight. A low growl built in his chest. Liam grabbed his collar. "No," Liam whispered. "We can't." The krill struck the merchant, sending him sprawling into a planter. Soil scattered across the floor. The merchant curled into a ball, protecting his head with his arms. "Remember," the lead krill said. "Next time we won't be so gentle." They walked away, laughing among themselves. The merchant slowly uncurled, checking for injuries. His eye was already swelling. No one helped him up. Everyone pretended they hadn't seen anything except Liam. He stood and walked over, offering his hand. The merchant looked up at him with surprise. "Are you okay?" Liam asked. The merchant took his hand, his skin cool and slightly damp. "You shouldn't have done that. The krill don't forget kindness to their victims. I just helped you up. That's more than anyone else did." The merchant brushed soil from his vest. "You're human, aren't you? I thought your kind was smarter than this." "What do you mean?" "I mean, stay away from the krill. Especially stay away from Sector 9, that's their territory and they don't like trespassers. A human child wouldn't last 5 minutes in there." The merchant looked at Badger with curiosity. "What is that creature?" "This is Badger. He's my friend. Strange friend, but I suppose humans are strange people." The merchant nodded to them both. "Thank you for your help. But please listen to my warning. Stay away from Sector 9. The merchant hurried away, disappearing into the crowd. Badger watched him go, then looked up at Liam. "Krill bad," the translation caller said simply. "Yeah," Liam agreed. "They are." He didn't know it yet, but within 24 hours he would learn exactly how bad the krill could be. And the galaxy would learn what happened when you threatened someone a honey badger had decided to protect. The ball bounced twice before rolling under a barrier marked with yellow warning strips. Liam watched it disappear into the corridor beyond, his heart sinking. It was the last gift his father had given him before the accident. A simple rubber ball, blue with white stars made to look like Earth from space. His father said it would remind him that no matter how far they traveled, home was always with them. Now it was rolling into Sector 9. "Ball gone," Badger said, sitting beside him. The honey badger could sense Liam's distress. "I know where it went," Liam said quietly. He looked at the warning barrier. Beyond it, the corridor lights shifted to a reddish tint. That was krill territory. The merchant's warning from yesterday echoed in his mind. Stay away from Sector 9. But it was just a ball. He could run in, grab it, and run back out. The krill wouldn't even notice. They were probably busy with their business, whatever that was. It would take 30 seconds, maybe less. "Bad idea," Badger growled. The honey badger paced back and forth, agitated. His instincts were screaming danger. "I'll be quick," Liam said. He ducked under the barrier before he could change his mind. The corridor felt different immediately. Colder. The air had a sharp smell, like metal, and something else he couldn't identify. His footsteps echoed on the grated floor. The ball had rolled about 20 meters ahead, stopped against a wall. Liam could see it clearly under the red lights. He walked quickly, trying to stay quiet. The walls here were covered in krill markings, symbols he couldn't read. Probably warnings or claims of territory. He reached the ball and scooped it up, relief flooding through him. See, nothing to worry about. He turned to leave. 3 krill blocked the corridor behind him. They had appeared silently like shadows taking form. These weren't merchants. They wore dark armor with clan symbols etched into the plates. Enforcers. The one in the middle was massive, nearly 8 feet tall, with scars across his snout and arms. "Well," the big one said. His voice was deep, scraping against Liam's ears. "What do we have here? A soft skin in our territory." "I'm sorry," Liam said, holding up the ball. "This rolled in here by accident. I was just getting it back." The krill spread out, blocking any escape route. The big one stepped forward. Up close, he was terrifying. His scales looked like armor plating, and his claws could easily tear through flesh. His eyes were yellow with vertical slits, completely unreadable. "I'm Overseer Drath," he said. "You know what an overseer does, soft skin?" Liam shook his head, clutching the ball to his chest. "I maintain order. I make sure everyone knows their place." Drath leaned down, bringing his face level with Liam's. His breath smelled like sulfur. "And your place is not here." "I'm leaving," Liam said. He tried to step around them, but one of the other krill grabbed his shoulder, shoving him back. "Did I say you could leave?" Drath straightened up. "You trespassed. There are consequences for that." "He's just a child," a voice said from behind Liam. Relief surged through him. Someone was standing up for him. But when he turned, he saw Badger had followed him into Sector 9. The honey badger stood in the corridor, looking impossibly small compared to the krill. Drath and his enforcers stared at Badger for a moment, then burst into laughter. The sound was cruel, mocking. "The pet keepers bring their animals everywhere," Drath said. "What is that thing? Some kind of earth rodent?" "Badger, not rodent," the translation caller said flatly. This only made the krill laugh harder. Drath crouched down, studying Badger with amused contempt. "It speaks. Oh, this is wonderful. The soft skins think their little pets can protect them." "Please," Liam said. "We'll leave. We won't come back. Too late for that." Drath stood and faced Liam again. "You need to learn respect. Let me teach you what happens when lesser species forget their place." The overseer's hand moved faster than Liam expected. The strike caught him across the face, a casual backhand that lifted Liam off his feet and slammed him against the wall. Pain exploded through his skull. The ball fell from his hands, bouncing away. The world tilted and blurred. He tasted blood in his mouth. Liam slid down the wall, unable to stand. His cheek felt like it was on fire. Through watering eyes, he saw Drath approaching again, raising his hand for another blow. Then Badger moved between them. The honey badger had been sitting quietly, watching. But the moment Drath struck Liam, something changed. Badger's fur stood completely on end, making him look twice his normal size. His claws extended, scraping against the metal floor, and his eyes, usually dark and curious, became flat and hard. The translation caller activated. 2 words spoken in a tone that made even the krill pause. "My turn." Drath stared down at the small animal. Then he laughed again, though this time it sounded forced. "Your turn? Your turn to what, rodent? Roll over? Play dead?" Badger didn't respond. He just stood there, absolutely still, positioned between Liam and the krill. His muscles were coiled tight, ready to explode into motion. "Stupid animal," Drath muttered. He raised his foot to kick Badger aside. Liam tried to shout a warning, but his mouth wouldn't work properly. His vision was still swimming from the blow. He saw Drath's leg move forward, saw Badger's body tense. And then, somewhere in his foggy mind, he remembered something his father had told him. They had been at the enhancement center the day Badger was assigned to them. Liam asked why they chose honey badgers for the program. There were bigger animals, stronger animals. His father had knelt down and looked him in the eye. "Size doesn't matter as much as you think, son. Honey badgers are special. They're one of the most fearless animals on Earth. They'll fight lions, fight buffalo, fight anything that threatens what they protect. And once you threaten what they protect, nothing in the universe can stop them. They don't know how to quit. They don't know how to surrender. They only know how to fight until the threat is gone or they are." Liam had nodded, not really understanding. Badger was so small and friendly. It was hard to imagine him fighting anything. Now in Sector 9, with blood running down his chin and his cheek swelling, Liam understood. Drath's kick never landed. Badger launched himself forward with explosive speed, jaws open, claws extended. The honey badger's enhanced body moved like a weapon forged specifically for this moment. He hit Drath's leg below the knee, teeth sinking through scales and into the softer flesh beneath. Drath's scream echoed through the corridor, a sound of pure shock and pain. The mighty overseer staggered backward, trying to shake Badger off. But honey badgers had jaws that locked like a vice. Once they bit down, they didn't let go. The other 2 krill enforcers stood frozen, unable to believe what they were seeing. A creature barely 30 pounds was attacking their leader, and their leader was losing. Badger released Drath's leg and darted away before the overseer could grab him. Blood ran down Drath's scales. He roared in fury and pain, drawing a weapon from his belt, a plasma pistol glowing with deadly energy. "I'll kill that thing," Drath shouted, aiming at Badger. The other enforcers finally moved, drawing their own weapons. 3 armed krill against 1 small earth animal. It should have been over in seconds. But honey badgers had been surviving against impossible odds for millions of years. It was in their blood, in their bones, in every fiber of their being. And this particular honey badger had enhancements that made him faster, stronger, and smarter than any natural animal. As the plasma bolt started firing, Badger became a blur of black and white fur, moving with a speed and purpose that seemed impossible for something so small. Liam watched through dimming vision as his friend went to war. The first plasma bolt scorched the wall where Badger had been standing a fraction of a second earlier. The honey badger moved like liquid shadow, impossibly fast for something with such short legs. He zigzagged across the corridor floor, making himself a nearly impossible target. The second Krill enforcer fired, his shot going wide as Badger changed direction without warning. The third enforcer tried to anticipate the pattern, aiming ahead of Badger's movement. But there was no pattern. Honey badgers didn't think like prey animals that ran in predictable lines. They thought like predators, and predators were creative. Badger launched himself at the nearest enforcer, the one on the left. The Krill tried to swat him away, but Badger twisted in midair, latching onto the enforcer's arm. His enhanced claws, reinforced with a carbon titanium compound, punched through the light armor on the Krill's forearm. The enforcer screamed and dropped his weapon. "Get it off," the Krill shrieked, shaking his arm violently. Badger held on, riding the motion like he was designed for it. His teeth found the gap between armor plates and bit down on the tendon behind the Krill's elbow. Another scream and the enforcer's arm went limp. Badger dropped to the ground and immediately targeted the next threat. The third enforcer aimed carefully, finger tightening on the trigger. Badger didn't run away. He ran forward directly at the gun. The enforcer hesitated, confused by the suicidal charge. In that moment of hesitation, Badger reached him. The honey badger went for the ankles. It was a simple strategy, but devastatingly effective. The enforcer toppled backward, his shot blasting harmlessly into the ceiling. Badger was on him before he hit the ground, claws raking across the Krill's face, aiming for the eyes. The enforcer rolled away, covering his head with his arms. That left Drath. The overseer had been watching, his yellow eyes wide with disbelief. He had seen combat before, had fought in clan wars, had killed enemies twice his size. But he had never seen anything fight like this small earth creature. It moved without fear, without hesitation, without mercy. Every action was focused on one goal: disable the threat. "Clever animal," Drath hissed. He holstered his plasma pistol and drew a curved blade from his back. "Let's see how you do against someone who knows how to fight." Badger turned to face him, blood on his muzzle, breathing hard but not tired. The translation collar crackled. "Protect boy." "Your boy is already broken," Drath said, gesturing at Liam. The human child was slumped against the wall, barely conscious. "Surrender now and I'll make your death quick." Badger's response was to charge. Drath was ready this time. He swung the blade in a wide arc, intending to cut the animal in half. But Badger dropped and slid across the smooth floor, passing under the blade. He crashed into Drath's legs, claws digging into the overseer's calves. Drath stumbled but didn't fall. He was too large, too well balanced. He spun and brought the blade down in a stabbing motion. Badger rolled aside, the blade sparking against the metal floor. Drath struck again and again, each blow missing by inches. The other two enforcers were trying to rejoin the fight. The one with the injured arm fumbled for a backup weapon. The one Badger had knocked down was getting to his feet, his face bleeding from claw marks. Badger saw them moving and made a calculation. He couldn't fight all three at once, not in open combat. He needed to end this quickly. His enhanced intelligence analyzed the situation in microseconds, coming to the same conclusion his natural instincts already knew. Take down the leader, and the others would break. He changed tactics. Instead of dodging Drath's next strike, Badger jumped directly at the blade. Drath's eyes widened in shock as the small animal seemed to commit suicide. But Badger twisted in midair, the blade passing through the space his body had occupied a moment before. He landed on Drath's extended arm and ran up it like a ramp, claws finding purchase in the scales. Drath tried to shake him off, but Badger was already at his shoulder, climbing toward his neck. The overseer dropped his blade and grabbed for the animal with both hands. His fingers closed on fur, but honey badger skin was famously loose. The skin shifted and slid, and Badger squirmed free, now on Drath's back. This was what honey badgers were built for. In nature, they climbed onto larger predators and attacked from positions of advantage. Lions, hyenas, even Cape buffalo had learned to fear the small black and white animals that could cling to their backs and bite with crushing force. Badger's teeth found the base of Drath's neck, just above the armor collar. He bit down hard. The overseer roared in pain and rage, spinning in circles trying to reach the animal on his back. Blood ran down his scales. He slammed himself backward into the wall, trying to crush Badger between his body and the hard surface. The impact would have killed a normal animal, but the enhancement program had reinforced Badger's bones and organs. He grunted from the impact but held on, biting deeper. Drath slammed into the wall again, harder this time, and again, the wall panels cracked under the force. On the fourth impact, Badger finally let go, dropping to the floor. Drath spun around, expecting to finish the stunned animal, but Badger wasn't stunned. He was already moving, targeting Drath's injured leg again. This time he went for the back of the knee where there was no armor. His teeth found the crucial tendons. Drath's leg buckled. The massive krill crashed to his knees, one leg completely useless. He grabbed for Badger with desperate hands, but the honey badger danced away, just out of reach. The other two enforcers finally moved to help their leader. But they were injured and hesitant. They had just watched a creature a fraction of their size bring down the most feared fighter in their clan. Their confidence was shattered. Badger didn't give them time to recover it. He darted at the one with the injured arm, the one he had bitten first. The enforcer raised his good arm to block, but Badger went low again, targeting the knee. A quick slash with reinforced claws, and the enforcer was on the ground, his leg unable to support his weight. The last enforcer standing backed away, raising his hands. "I yield," he said in the krill language. His translator unit rendered it in standard speech. "I yield." Badger stopped, watching him carefully. The enforcer kept backing away until he reached the corridor exit. Then he turned and ran. His footsteps echoed as he fled Sector 9. That left Drath. The overseer was on his knees, one hand pressed against the bleeding wound on his neck, the other trying to support himself. His face was twisted in pain and fury. He glared at Badger with pure hatred. "Impossible," he gasped. "You're just an animal. Just a stupid earth animal." Badger sat down, his tongue lolling slightly. He was breathing hard now, tired from the fight. But he positioned himself between Drath and Liam, never taking his eyes off the krill. "Not stupid," the translation caller said. "Protective." Drath tried to stand, but his injured leg collapsed under him. He fell forward, catching himself on his hands. Blood dripped from multiple wounds onto the metal floor. Behind Badger, Liam stirred. The boy's eyes fluttered open, his vision slowly clearing. He saw Badger sitting in front of him, saw the injured krill scattered around the corridor, saw the blood. "Badger." Liam's voice was weak, slurred. The honey badger's ear twitched, but he didn't turn around. He was still watching Drath, making sure the threat was truly neutralized. Footsteps echoed in the corridor, multiple sets, running. Station security was finally arriving. A spider-like alien in a security uniform rounded the corner, followed by 3 others. They stopped abruptly, taking in the scene. 4 krill enforcers, all injured, one of them barely conscious. A small earth animal sitting calmly in the middle of it all. A human child bleeding against the wall. The lead security officer, whose name tag read Officer Tess, stared at Badger. Her multiple eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme confusion. "What happened here?" she asked. Liam tried to answer, but his mouth wasn't working right. His cheek was swollen, his lip split. Badger's translation collar activated instead. The honey badger looked directly at Officer Tess. "Krill hit boy." Badger stopped Krill. "Boy safe now." Officer Tess looked from Badger to the injured krill, then back to Badger. In all her years of security work, she had never seen anything like this. "What are you?" she whispered. Liam managed to speak, his words slightly garbled but understandable. "He's my friend." The medical bay smelled like antiseptic and ozone. Liam sat on an examination table while a Vrillon doctor, who looked like a walking mantis, scanned his injuries with a device that hummed softly. His mother stood beside him, her hand gripping his shoulder so tightly it almost hurt. She hadn't let go since security brought him to the medical bay. "The bone is not broken," the doctor said, her mandibles clicking as she spoke, "but the soft tissue damage is significant. He will have bruising for several days, and the cut inside his mouth will take time to heal. I recommend rest and pain medication." "Thank you, doctor," Rebecca said. Her voice was tight, controlled. Liam knew that tone. She was holding back anger, fear, and a dozen other emotions. Later, when they were alone, she would probably cry. But right now she was being strong for him. Badger sat on the floor beside the examination table, refusing to move. The medical staff had tried to take him to a different area for examination, but he had growled and planted himself next to Liam. Eventually, they gave up and scanned him where he sat. The results showed minor bruising but no serious injuries. Honey badgers had thick skin and dense muscle tissue. The enhancement program had made that even more pronounced. Officer Tess entered the medical bay, accompanied by 2 other security personnel. "I need to ask some questions," she said. Rebecca straightened. "My son was attacked. What questions could you possibly have?" "I understand your anger, Dr. Carter. But there are serious concerns about what happened. 4 Krill enforcers are in critical care. One of them may lose the use of his arm permanently. Another will need extensive surgery on his leg, all from a single animal. They hit my son first, Rebecca said coldly. Or did your investigation skip that part? Officer Tess's multiple eyes blinked in a pattern that suggested discomfort. The Krill claim your son trespassed in Sector 9. They say they were defending their territory. From a 10-year-old child? Rebecca's voice rose slightly. He was retrieving a ball, a toy, and they attacked him for it. We have security footage, Officer Tess said. She pulled out a data pad and activated it. The screen showed Liam entering Sector 9, picking up his ball, and then the confrontation with Drath and the other enforcers. The angle wasn't perfect, but it clearly showed Drath striking Liam first. It showed the boy falling, bleeding, and then it showed Badger moving between them. What followed was difficult to watch. The fight was brutal, efficient, and completely one-sided once Badger committed. The security footage captured every moment of the Honey Badger's assault on the Krill enforcers. This is concerning, Officer Tess said quietly. Your animal is classified as a companion, not a weapon. But what I see here looks very much like a weapon. He was protecting Liam, Rebecca said. Any parent would do the same. I'm not questioning his motives. I'm questioning his classification. The Enhanced Species Program registered him as a low-threat companion animal. But these injuries suggest otherwise. Liam found his voice, though speaking hurt his swollen cheek. Badger didn't want to fight. He only did it because they were going to hurt me more. Officer Tess looked at him with something like sympathy. I believe you, but my beliefs don't matter. The Krill are filing formal complaints with the Galactic Union Council. They want your companion classified as a dangerous weapon and confiscated. No. Liam tried to stand, but pain shot through his head and he sat back down. Badger immediately stood on his hind legs, front paws on Liam's knee, checking on him. Boy, okay? The translation caller asked. I'm fine, Badger. Officer Tess watched this interaction carefully. I can see the bond between you, but the law is complicated. When an animal causes this level of damage, there are protocols. The council will review the case. When? Rebecca asked. A representative from Earth's diplomatic corps is already on the way. Director Morris Hayes. He should arrive within 2 standard days. Until then, you and your son are confined to the human quarters for your own safety. The Krill are very angry. As if to emphasize her point, an alarm sounded somewhere in the station. Officer Tess checked her communicator, her expression darkening. A Krill clan ship just entered the system. They're demanding justice for their injured. Rebecca pulled Liam closer. You need to protect us. That's your job. I will do my best, Dr. Carter. But understand this situation is bigger than one incident now. The Krill are powerful. They have allies. And right now humanity doesn't have many friends in this sector. Over the next day, news of the fight spread throughout the station and beyond. Liam stayed in the human quarters with his mother and Badger, watching news feeds on the data screen. The story was everywhere. Human child's pet mauled Krill enforcers, read one headline. Earth animal proves more dangerous than expected, said another. Is humanity weaponizing animals? Asked a third. The feeds showed images of Badger, zoomed in and analyzed. Experts from various species debated what they were seeing. Most of them had never heard of honey badgers before. Earth's wildlife wasn't common knowledge in the galaxy. One expert, a Thoran scientist with blue skin and 4 arms, appeared on multiple feeds. The concerning aspect is that humans claim this is natural behavior, enhanced only slightly by their program. If this is true, what other dangerous species do they have on their planet, and why are they bringing them into space? Another expert, this one from a species that looked like a floating jellyfish, disagreed. We should not judge an entire species by one defensive action. The video clearly shows the Krill attacked first. The animal was protecting its companion. That is admirable, not dangerous. But other voices were less sympathetic. A Krill representative appeared, his scales dark with anger. Humanity must control their beasts or face consequences. We will not tolerate weapons disguised as pets on our stations and ships. The council must act. Liam watched these feeds with growing anxiety. Everyone was talking about Badger like he was a monster, a threat. But they hadn't been there. They hadn't felt the impact of Drath's hand, hadn't tasted their own blood, hadn't seen the Overseer raising his hand for another strike. Badger had saved him. Why couldn't they see that? Don't read too much of that stuff, Rebecca said, turning off the data screen. It's just noise. Director Hayes will set things straight. What if they take Badger away? Liam asked. The thought made his chest tight with fear. They won't. I won't let them. But her voice lacked conviction. They both knew that if the Galactic Union Council ruled against them, there was nothing one human scientist could do about it. Badger seemed unconcerned by all the attention. He stayed close to Liam, sometimes sleeping beside him, sometimes sitting by the window watching ships come and go. The honey badger didn't understand politics or public opinion. He understood simple things. Protect the boy, stay alert for danger, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. On the second day, Director Morris Hayes arrived. He was a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He wore the formal uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps, dark blue with silver insignia. He met with Rebecca and Liam in their quarters with Badger sitting between them. Tell me everything, Hayes said. So they did. Hayes listened without interrupting, taking notes on a data pad. When they finished, he studied Badger for a long moment. This animal saved your life, he said to Liam. Yes, sir. And now they want to take him away and probably terminate him. Liam felt tears burning his eyes but refused to let them fall. Yes, sir. Hayes nodded slowly. Well, we can't let that happen. The hearing is tomorrow. I've prepared a defense, but I need you both to be strong. The Krill will try to paint this as human aggression. We need to show the truth. What do you need us to do? Rebecca asked. Just tell the truth. And let me handle the politics. Hayes stood and straightened his uniform. I've been studying Earth's wildlife since I heard about this incident. I think I have an approach that might work, but it's going to surprise some people. Will it work? Liam asked. Hayes smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Honestly, I don't know. But I promise you this. I will do everything in my power to protect Badger. Because if we lose this fight, we lose much more than one animal. We lose humanity's reputation in the galaxy, and we lose the right to be who we are. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. He lay in bed with Badger curled up beside him. The honey badger's steady breathing a comfort. Tomorrow, a group of aliens would decide Badger's fate. They would look at the footage, read the reports, and make a judgment. Liam just hoped they would see what he saw. Not a weapon, but a friend who refused to let him get hurt. Badger? He whispered in the darkness. The collar translated the questioning sound. Thank you for saving me. Badger shifted position, pressing closer to Liam's side. Always protect, boy. That is Badger's job. Liam closed his eyes, trying not to think about tomorrow, trying not to imagine a future without his friend. The council chamber felt enormous. Liam sat in a chair that was too big for him, his feet barely touching the floor. His mother sat to his left, Director Hayes to his right. Badger lay at his feet, calm and still. Around them, the chamber curved in a semicircle with raised platforms where representatives from different species sat in judgment. Liam counted 12 representatives. A Vrillon, a Thoran, 3 others he didn't recognize, and 6 Krill. The Krill representatives sat together, their scales gleaming under the chamber lights. They looked angry. One of them was Drath himself, his neck bandaged, his leg in some kind of support brace. He stared at Liam with pure hatred. Officer Tess stood at a podium in the center of the chamber. As head of station security, she would present the facts of the case. She activated a holographic display, showing the security footage from Sector 9. 3 days ago, a human child entered Krill territory to retrieve a personal item. Tess began. Her voice echoed in the large space. He was confronted by Overseer Drath and 3 enforcers. The encounter became violent. The hologram showed everything, Liam picking up the ball, the Krill surrounding him, Drath striking him. Liam's mother gripped his hand tightly as they watched him fall. Then the footage showed Badger's counterattack. The representatives watched in silence. Some leaned forward, studying the footage carefully. Others sat back, their expressions unreadable. When the footage ended, Tess continued. The result was 4 injured Krill enforcers and 1 injured human child. The question before this council is whether the human's companion animal acted in legitimate defense, or whether this was an unprovoked attack by a dangerous weapon. A Krill representative stood. His scales were darker than the others, almost black, with red markings. I am Clan Leader Varth. The answer is obvious. This creature is a weapon. Look at the damage it caused. 4 trained warriors injured by 1 small animal. This is not natural. This is military engineering. Director Hayes stood smoothly. May I respond? The head counselor, an elderly Thoran with pale blue skin, nodded. Please proceed, Director Hayes. Hayes walked to the center of the chamber, his movements confident. Clan leader Varth is correct about one thing. The damage was significant. But he is wrong about the cause. This was not military engineering. This was nature, enhanced only slightly by medical science. You admit the animal was enhanced, Varth said. Therefore, it is a weapon. By that logic, any species that uses medical technology to improve their natural abilities is a weapon. The Thoran longevity treatments, Vrillon optical enhancements, your own krill strength supplements. Are these weapons? Varth's scales rippled with irritation. Those are medical treatments, not attack modifications. And Badger's enhancements are also medical in nature. Improved healing, slightly increased strength, cognitive enhancement to allow communication. These modifications don't make him a weapon. They make him a better companion. Another krill representative stood, but the footage shows aggressive behavior far beyond normal animal responses. Hayes nodded. Because you don't understand honey badgers. Let me educate you. He activated his own holographic display. Images of Earth appeared, showing various ecosystems. Then the images focused on a small black and white animal in the African savanna. This is a honey badger in its natural habitat, unmodified, completely natural. Watch, the hologram showed footage of a honey badger confronting a lion. The lion was easily 20 times the badger's size, with massive claws and teeth. The honey badger didn't run. It charged, hissing and growling. The lion surprisingly backed away. More footage followed. Honey badgers fighting hyenas, raiding beehives despite thousands of stinging insects, digging through concrete-hard termite mounds. In every clip, the small animal showed absolute fearlessness. Honey badgers are known on Earth as one of the most fearless animals in existence, Hayes explained. They have thick skin that resists bites and stings. They have powerful jaws and claws, and most importantly, they have a temperament that refuses to back down from any threat. They're so fierce that the Guinness Book of Records once listed them as the most fearless animal on Earth. The representatives were watching the footage with clear fascination. Even the krill seemed surprised. Hayes continued. The enhancement program didn't create this behavior. We just gave Badger the ability to communicate and slightly improved his natural abilities. Everything else, everything you saw in that footage is pure honey badger nature. This is meant to reassure us? Varth demanded. You're saying Earth naturally produces creatures this dangerous? Earth produces many dangerous creatures, Hayes said calmly. He changed the hologram to show different animals. These are called orcas. They hunt in packs and can kill whales larger than most spacecraft. These are saltwater crocodiles with bite force that can crush bone like soft fruit. These are Cape buffalo, known for killing more humans than any other large animal in Africa. This is a poison dart frog, whose skin contains toxins that can kill hundreds of people. And this is a microscopic organism called Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that can literally alter brain chemistry and behavior. The council chamber was silent. The representatives stared at the images, clearly disturbed. Should I continue? Hayes asked. I have documentation on thousands of Earth species. Bears that can run 40 miles per hour despite weighing half a ton. Spiders with venom that causes painful death. Fish that generate enough electricity to stun a human. Birds with claws that can disembowel prey with a single kick. Earth is a remarkably dangerous planet by galactic standards. The elderly Thoran counselor spoke up. How do humans survive on such a world? Hayes smiled. We evolved alongside these creatures. We learned to respect them, to avoid the dangerous ones, and to befriend the ones that would accept friendship. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our intelligence. It's our ability to form bonds with other species. Dogs, cats, horses, even birds. We've been partnering with animals for thousands of years. He gestured to Badger. The enhancement program is just an extension of that ancient partnership. We don't create weapons. We create companions who can thrive in space alongside us. Clan leader Varth wasn't giving up. Yet your companion attacked trained warriors. That is not the action of a pet. No, Hayes agreed. It's the action of a protector. Let me ask you something, clan leader. If someone struck your child, what would you do? Varth's scales darkened. I would defend my child. With violence? If necessary. Even against multiple opponents? Varth hesitated. Yes. Then how is Badger different? He saw his companion, his family, attacked. He defended him. That's not weapon behavior. That's family behavior. The counselor raised a hand for silence. "I would like to hear from the child. Liam Carter, please approach." Liam's heart pounded as he stood. His mother squeezed his hand before letting go. He walked to the center of the chamber on shaky legs, very aware of all the eyes watching him. Badger started to follow, but Liam signaled him to stay. The honey badger sat reluctantly, watching his every move. "Liam," the counselor said kindly, "tell us about Badger. How long have you known him?" Liam's voice came out small at first.
3 years.
"Since I was 7. And why do you have him?" "My dad got him for me. Before my dad died. He said I needed someone to protect me while Mom worked in dangerous places." "Has Badger ever hurt anyone before?" "No, sir, never. He's friendly with everyone. He plays with other animals on stations we visit. He's gentle with small children." "Then why did he attack the krill?" Liam touched his still swollen cheek. "Because they hit me. Overseer Drath hit me so hard I couldn't stand up. He was going to hit me again. Badger was just protecting me." The counselor looked at Drath. "Is this true? Did you strike the child first?" Drath's scales rippled. "He trespassed. That's not what I asked. He needed to learn respect. By being beaten?" The counselor's voice hardened. "He is a child. A soft-skinned child," Drath muttered. The word hung in the air. Several representatives shifted uncomfortably. The prejudice was obvious. Director Hayes spoke up. "And there it is. The real issue. Not whether Badger is dangerous, but whether humans deserve equal protection under Union law. The krill see humans as soft, as weak, as lesser. They thought they could hurt a human child without consequences." Clan leader Varth stood angrily. "That is not what this hearing is about." "Isn't it?" Hayes challenged. "If Liam had been Thorin or Vrylan or even Krill, would Drath have struck him? Or is it only human children who can be beaten for the crime of retrieving a ball?" The council erupted into arguments. Representatives were talking over each other, some agreeing with Hayes, others defending the krill. The counselor called for order, but it took several minutes for the chamber to quiet down. Finally, the counselor spoke. "We will take a recess to discuss this matter. Liam, you may return to your seat." Liam walked back to his mother, his legs feeling weak. She pulled him into a hug. Badger immediately jumped onto his lap, licking his face. "You did great," Hayes whispered. But Liam could see the krill representatives arguing among themselves. Drath was gesturing angrily, his bandaged neck visible. This wasn't over. The council deliberated for 2 hours. When they finally returned, the counselor's expression was grave. "This council has reached a decision," he said. "Based on the evidence presented, we find that Badger acted in legitimate defense of his companion. The Enhanced Species Program is not in violation of Union weapons restrictions." Relief flooded through Liam. His mother let out a breath she'd been holding. Hayes nodded with satisfaction, but the counselor wasn't finished. "However, we require new protocols for enhanced animals. They must be registered and monitored, and there will be consequences for Overseer Drath's actions." Drath stood. "What consequences?" "You struck a child under Union protection. You escalated a minor trespass into violence. You are hereby removed from your position and banned from enforcement duties." Drath's roar of fury echoed through the chamber. The other krill representatives tried to calm him, but he shook them off. "This is not over," Drath snarled, looking directly at Liam. "The clans will not forget this insult." As if emphasizing his words, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The alarm's wail cut through the council chamber like a knife. Officer Tess checked her communicator, her multiple eyes widening in alarm. "We have 15 krill warships surrounding the station," she announced. "They're demanding we hand over Liam Carter and his animal or they'll open fire." Panic rippled through the chamber. Representatives stood, talking urgently into their own communicators. The elderly Thorin counselor raised his hands for calm, but no one was listening. "How long until they attack?" Director Hayes asked, his voice cutting through the noise. "They've given us 1 hour," Tess replied, "but our defenses can't hold against that many ships. We're a trading station, not a military base." Clan leader Varth stood, his dark scales gleaming. "My people are within their rights. The council's decision is an insult to krill honor. Hand over the human and his beast and there will be no bloodshed." "Absolutely not," Hayes said firmly. "We don't surrender children to satisfy someone's wounded pride." "Then everyone on this station will die for your stubbornness," Varth shot back. Liam felt his mother's arms tighten around him. Badger growled low in his throat, sensing the tension. This was his fault. He had just wanted his ball back. Now thousands of people were in danger because of him. "I'll go," Liam said quietly. "If it stops them from hurting everyone else, I'll go." "No." Rebecca's voice was sharp. "I won't let you sacrifice yourself." Hayes knelt down in front of Liam. "Neither will I, and neither will Earth. We have a ship incoming." "The ESS Defiance." "They'll be here in 40 minutes. One ship against 15? Varth laughed. "Your human arrogance knows no bounds." "We'll see," Hayes said. He stood and addressed the council. "I request permission to make a broadcast to the Krill fleet." The counselor hesitated, then nodded. "Granted, but make it quick. We're running out of time." Hayes walked to the communication podium. Officer Tess patched him through to the Krill ships and to every screen on the station. Hayes's face appeared on displays throughout Meridian 7. "I am Director Morris Hayes of Earth's Diplomatic Corps," he began. "I'm speaking to the Krill fleet and to everyone watching. You want to know if humans are dangerous? If our animals are weapons? Let me show you something." He activated a data stream, sending information to every ship and every screen. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing detailed biological scans and documentation. "These are the specifications for various Earth species," Hayes explained. "Not enhanced. Not modified. Just natural evolution. I showed you honey badgers earlier. Now let me show you the rest." The display showed a great white shark, its massive jaws opening to reveal rows of teeth. This creature can smell blood in the water from miles away. It has electrical sensors that can detect heartbeats. It can bite with a force of 4,000 pounds per square inch. The image changed to a grizzly bear. This animal can run 30 miles per hour and has claws 5 inches long. It can decapitate prey with a single swipe. More images followed in rapid succession. A box jellyfish with venom that could kill a human in minutes. A hippopotamus that killed more people in Africa than any other large animal. A mosquito carrying malaria. A blue-ringed octopus with neurotoxin. A cassowary with claws that could disembowel. And these are just the large visible threats, Hayes continued. Earth has bacteria that eat flesh. Viruses that can wipe out entire populations. Fungi that take over their hosts' brains. We have plants that can poison you with a touch. Insects that burrow under your skin. Parasites that live in your blood. The representatives in the council chamber were staring at the displays in horror. Even the Krill seemed disturbed. Earth is classified as a Class 7 death world by Galactic Union standards, Hayes said. Do you know what that means? It means our planet is so hostile, so filled with competing predators and dangers that most species wouldn't survive there for a week without environmental suits. He paused, letting that sink in. Humans evolved in this environment. We didn't just survive. We thrived. We climbed to the top of the food chain not through size or strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and adaptability. And most importantly, through our ability to form alliances with other species. The display changed again, showing humans with dogs, hunting together, humans with horses traveling vast distances, humans with cats protecting grain stores from rodents, humans with crows, solving complex problems together. While other species built technology to replace nature, we brought nature with us, Hayes said. Our ships carry plants for oxygen and food. Our stations have gardens and animals. We don't see this as primitive. We see it as strength. Because we understand something fundamental. Life supports life. Diversity makes us stronger. He changed the display one final time, showing Badger sitting peacefully with Liam, the honey badger's head resting on the boy's knee. This is what you call a weapon? This is a child and his protector, a bond that goes back millions of years on our planet. Yes, Badger is dangerous when his family is threatened, but so is every parent in this galaxy. The Krill understand this. Their clans are built on protecting their own. How is Badger different? Silence filled the communication channel. Hayes pressed his advantage. The ESS Defiance is bringing something special. Not weapons, not soldiers. Just information. A complete database of Earth's biological diversity. Thousands of species, all cataloged, all explained. We want you to see what we live with every day. And then ask yourself, if humans can thrive on a planet with great white sharks and grizzly bears and honey badgers, what makes you think we're weak? The display showed the ESS Defiance approaching the station. It was a research vessel, not a warship. Its hull was painted with images of Earth's wildlife, a declaration of pride in humanity's dangerous home. We're not hiding our nature anymore, Hayes said. Earth is a death world. Its animals are dangerous, and humans are the species that learn to live alongside them, to befriend them, to protect them. If that makes us terrifying, then so be it. But understand this, we don't start fights. We finish them. He looked directly into the camera. Clan leader Varth, you have a choice. You can attack this station and kill thousands of innocent people over a matter of pride, or you can recognize that your enforcer was wrong, that he struck a child under Union protection, and that the consequences he faced were just. Choose wisely. The communication channel went silent. Everyone waited, watching the krill ships on their scanners. The minutes ticked by slowly. 30 seconds. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Finally, a response came through. But it wasn't from Varth. It was from a different krill, one whose scales bore the markings of high rank. I am Grand Clan Leader Sethis. I speak for the Krill High Council, not just one clan. The alien's voice was deep, commanding. Director Hayes, your demonstration is noted. We were not aware that Earth was classified as a Class 7 death world. This changes the context of the situation. Liam held his breath. Badger's ears perked up listening to the voice. Sethis continued. The Krill respect strength. We respect those who survive against impossible odds, and we respect those who protect their own. Your speech about humans befriending dangerous creatures is persuasive, but there is one thing you said that resonates most deeply. What's that? Hayes asked. You said you don't start fights. You finish them. That is the Krill way as well. Overseer Drath started this fight by striking an unarmed child. The honey badger finished it. In this we see honor, not insult. Varth stood in the council chamber, his scales rippling with anger. Grand Leader, this is not... Silence, Varth. Your clan's honor was damaged by Drath's dishonorable action, not by the council's judgment. The human child was retrieving a personal item. That is not trespassing. That is innocence. To strike innocence is weakness, not strength. The other Krill representatives were nodding. Even they seemed to agree with the Grand Leader's assessment. Sethis's voice continued over the speakers. The fleet will withdraw, but Director Hayes, know that the Krill will be watching humanity closely. You come from a death world. You bring dangerous animals into space. You claim to not start fights. We will hold you to that claim. If humans prove to be aggressive, we will respond with overwhelming force. But if you prove to be honorable, as this incident suggests, then perhaps our peoples can find mutual respect. That's all we ask, Hayes said. Mutual respect. Then you have it, for now. Sethis out. The communication channel closed. On the scanners, the Krill ships began to pull back, forming a departure formation. Within minutes, they jumped to hyperspace, leaving the station in peace. The council chamber erupted in relief and celebration. Representatives who had been terrified minutes ago were now congratulating each other on surviving the crisis. Officer Tess slumped in her chair, her multiple eyes closing briefly. Hayes returned to Liam and Rebecca. It's over, he said simply. Rebecca pulled him into a hug, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. Thank you so much. Liam looked up at Hayes. Did you mean all that stuff about Earth being dangerous? Hayes smiled. Every word. Earth is a remarkable planet, Liam. Most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds where the biggest danger was weather or scarcity of resources. But Earth? Earth is filled with predators competing for survival. It made us tough. It made us adaptable. And it made us appreciate the value of forming alliances with other species. He crouched down and looked at Badger. Your friend here is a perfect example. Honey badgers are small, but they're survivors, just like humans. We recognize ourselves in them, I think. That's why the enhancement program works so well. The counselor approached. Director Hayes, the council would like to formally thank you. Your handling of this crisis was masterful. I just told the truth, Hayes said. Though I'll admit I enjoyed seeing their faces when they realized what kind of planet we come from. Over the next few days, everything changed for humanity in the galaxy. The information Hayes had broadcast spread across Union space. Scientists studied the data on Earth's wildlife with fascination and horror. News reports discussed whether humans should be reclassified from a peaceful species to a potentially dangerous one. But something else happened too. Other species began to look at humans with new respect. The small, supposedly weak newcomers came from a death world and had brought their dangerous animals with them as friends. That took a special kind of courage or craziness, and either way, it commanded attention. The Enhanced Species Program was officially recognized by the Galactic Union. New protocols required registration and monitoring, but the program was legal. More importantly, it became popular. Other humans started bringing their enhanced companions into space. Dogs, cats, ravens, even an octopus. Liam and his mother returned to their quarters, exhausted but relieved. Badger immediately curled up on Liam's bed, finally relaxed. The honey badger had been tense for days, ready to protect his boy at any moment. Now, with the threat gone, he could rest. Liam sat beside him, running his fingers through the coarse fur. The bruise on his cheek was fading, turning from purple to yellow-green. It would be gone soon, but he knew he would always remember the day everything changed. "You know what's funny?" Rebecca said, sitting on the edge of the bed. "We came to this station to study alien plants. I was so worried about making a good impression, about showing that humans could contribute to the galactic community, and then my son and his honey badger ended up teaching the galaxy a lesson about Earth." "I didn't mean to," Liam said. "I know, but sometimes the best lessons are the unplanned ones." She kissed his forehead. "Your father would be so proud of you, and of Badger." Liam thought about his father, about the day he had brought Badger home. His father had knelt down and said, "This little guy will always protect you, no matter what." That's what honey badgers do. He had been right. Later that evening, Director Hayes stopped by to say goodbye. He was heading back to Earth to brief the diplomatic corps on the incident. "You're going to be famous, you know," he told Liam. "The boy and his honey badger who taught the galaxy about Earth. News crews are already asking for interviews." "I don't want to be famous," Liam said. "I just want to be left alone with Badger." Hayes laughed. "Fair enough. But you should know this incident changed things. The Galactic Union is reassessing how they view humanity. We're not the weak newcomers anymore. We're the species from the death world who brings their predators as friends." "Is that good?" Liam asked. "Time will tell, but I think so. Respect is better than pity, and fear, properly managed, can prevent conflicts before they start." Hayes reached down and scratched behind Badger's ears. "Take care of this guy. He's special." "I will." After Hayes left, Liam lay down beside Badger. The honey badger opened one eye, checking on him, then closed it again. "Badger?" Liam whispered. "Why did you fight them? You could have been hurt. You could have died." Badger was quiet for a moment. Then his translation collar crackled to life. "Boy is Badger's family." "Family protects family. Always, that is the way. Even against bigger enemies? Especially against bigger enemies. Size does not matter, only protecting what matters." Liam smiled and closed his eyes. Outside the window, stars drifted past as the station continued its eternal orbit. Ships came and went, bringing aliens from across the galaxy. Some of them looked at humans differently now, some with fear, some with respect, some with curiosity. But none of them would ever again make the mistake of thinking humans were weak, because Earth was a death world, and humans had evolved alongside some of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. And now, thanks to one boy and his honey badger, everyone knew it. Far away in Earth's diplomatic offices, planners were already discussing the implications. If a honey badger could command this much respect, what would happen when the galaxy learned about the other animals humans were enhancing? What would they think of enhanced wolves or enhanced eagles or enhanced dolphins with their incredible intelligence? But those were questions for another day. For now, Liam Carter slept peacefully, his faithful guardian beside him. And in the Krill territories, clan leaders gathered to discuss this new information about humanity and their dangerous world. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, just slightly, not through weapons or war, but through the simple demonstration of nature's power and humanity's unique relationship with it. Somewhere in the station, Liam's blue ball sat on a shelf, a reminder of the day everything changed, the day a simple game turned into a galaxy-wide revelation. The day they struck the human child and his honey badger growled, "My turn."